All right, so day 2 of the NRA Law Enforcement Firearms Instructor course for tactical shooting instructors in the books. It was a really good day. It was pretty much 99% on the range. The only thing we did in the classroom was we mustered there in the very early part of the day just so coaches from yesterday can sign off and initial on all the drills they coached for each shooter. We all, do in pairs and coach each other, and so we sign off on the proficiency that the other person achieved it. Then everything else was on the range. We did a lot of seating stuff, simulating shooting from vehicles, simulating shooting like at a restaurant table and getting up, shooting from various firearm positions in the chair, getting up and clearing the chair, clearing the table, clearing vehicles, that kind of thing. Ran a lot of backup stuff, simulated room clearing and all that kind of stuff with barrels and on the range. Shot some steel today, which was fun. We did a lot of that yesterday too. What else? In running the backup gun, I was able to find a way to get all that on my belt at the same time. When I say all that, I mean I appendix carried the 43 with 3 magazines, all appendix carried, and I'll show the setup in a future video. But so I had appendix carried, 4 mags, 1 in the weapon, 3 in holsters on this little rig that I got from Philster holsters, and appendix carry, and then still ran my 2 spare mags and flashlight holster on my left side, and my duty weapon on the right side, and then ran the guard. And so even when we weren't doing backup gun transitions, sometimes my speed is such that I'm typically able to transition from rifle to handgun, and then transition, then again holster the main handgun and transition to the backup just to get a couple of drills coming from appendix carry like that. And then we threw on concealment garments. I used just an Under Armour button down short sleeve shirt, and then did a bunch of stuff from concealment, and all that from appendix carry. Did a lot of right-handed, left-handed stuff today. Stacked on doors, I think I mentioned that, and cleared rooms with targets and that kind of thing. One thing I am going to do after I get back home and get in front of a real camera and video editing and all that, I'm going to set up all the gear that I used in the class and just kind of run through pros and cons, issues I had with different equipment, issues I had with weapons, and really only issues I had with the weapon would be the guard. And that Wizard went the guard. It was a law side folding stock adapter. I talked about those issues in the last video. They're all remedied by some Loctite, I think in areas that they didn't tell you to Loctite, so I'll make sure I contact the manufacturer and maybe recommend that. And then the little area that was cutting in my hand, I'm going to recommend that they profile that differently in future models. Our instructor is good friends with the guy that designed that, so hopefully I can get like a direct contact with him and get that communicated. So that'll be interesting, and that way maybe if you're setting up similar gear, you'll be able to avoid some of the pitfalls that I had, just in terms of what to Loctite if you're running a law side folding stock adapter, issues I had with taco pouches and that kind of thing, and how you might avoid them. And so I did discover one gear issue, if you will. I'm running standard height tacos with stick mags, and I know how to address that now moving forward. So anyway, look for that at some point in the not too distant future. It was once again a really good day. Glock 43, compensated slide cuts, aftermarket everything. Johnny Glock's trigger ran like a champion. RTF Glock 17, built from scratch from all parts, everything aftermarket except for the Glock frame, and running Magpul mags with Zev magazine base plates. Ran flawlessly, not one issue whatsoever with it. And then the only issues I had with the guard that were, I guess, weapon specific and not due to an accessory, really was due to a lot of unburnt powder, not even unburnt powder, but just carbon buildup. I ran it pretty wet, and a lot of carbon buildup from the factory reloaded 9mm that I'm running. 9mm is going to be inherently more dirty than a quality 223 or 5.56 round. So where you might be able to get away with shooting 1,000 rounds out of a 5.56, just keeping it lubricated in this environment. I did eventually wipe down, I didn't break it apart, but I wiped down the outside of the bolt carrier and the guard, and then wiped down the inside of the receiver. And I mean, it was just like puddles of carbon in there. So, but I maybe had a few more failures to feed or double feeds. Really more so my fault, training issue kind of thing. With this 9mm, if you don't really pin that charging handle back, clearing it, it tends to hold around on the bolt face, which could be an issue because depending on your angle, you could pull it back 90% of the way, and then from your angle see the chamber and think it's empty, and not see from your angle that there's a round still in the bolt face, and then put that back in there and think you have a clear weapon. So definitely get the elevation up where, if you can, or crane your neck so you can fully see the bolt face on any weapon, but certainly a pistol caliber carbine. But I had a couple more double feed issues and jams based on the carbon buildup, probably a little bit, maybe a couple of them, but mainly mainly me short stroking that, and then of course the issues yesterday that are attributed to the lost side folding stock adapter. But anyway, I'll cover all that stuff more in detail in the not too distant future when I do a video discussing all of the gear and stuff. So tomorrow is all academic and dry fire. I don't think we're going live anymore. Tomorrow we're going to go and do the written test. We did the qualification today. Out of 7 people, myself and 2 others qualified the first time through, and then 3 more qualified the second time through. Everybody threw like 1 or 2 rounds out. I think one guy threw maybe 4, 2 with his rifle, 2 with his pistol. And then one guy actually didn't qualify the second time, threw 1 round out. Just, it can happen to the best of us. The guy's a great shooter. He's an Ole Miss. He's a police officer at the Ole Miss Police Department. Been in the game a long time. Certainly knows what he's doing. It's just one of those things that can happen to anybody. And so, no doubt in my mind, he'll qualify tomorrow morning and be good to go. But for the rest of us, everything's academic tomorrow, written test, and then we're going to do incapacitation drills with dummy rounds and stuff. We've already cleaned up all the brass today, so I doubt we'll go live again unless we just want to and have time. And then we'll be done with the course. We'll graduate the course and all that. So so it's a pretty short video today, and once again, a lot of shooting. I think the best video that's going to come out of this experience for me, specifically addressing this course, will be that one when I get back and show all the gear, pros and cons, and then do sort of an after action report video, just discussing the course, things I liked, things I didn't like, and that kind of thing. And so look for 2 main videos after this at some point in the distant future, or a gear review, pros and cons and lessons learned, and then an after action report for the course itself. There's not a lot out there, certainly on YouTube, about the tactical shooting instructor course. So if you ever search that on the YouTube, as far as now, these will be the only videos you find. So but I'll get back and add tags to these videos and thumbnails and all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't look quite so chintzy like it does now. But appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you after class tomorrow.